Hello, I'm Nostradamus with a methane and coronavirus update. Welcome to Phone Age News. Now, since my last video, I've given my computer a good clear out, so I'm hopefully won't have any problems recording like I did last time. Try and get through this in one go. So let's begin and have a look at what's been going on with the methane. This is the NOAA web page for global methane monthly means, and it shows how methane varies throughout the year and also how much the concentration is increasing year on year. And they show figures for the month of November, which is when it peaks. And they're showing that between 2019 and 2018 it rose by 10.8 parts per billion. And now I'd like to show you my measurements over a 12-month period, if I may. I don't know how NOAA arrived at their actual figure. I don't know whether they just measuring one level in the atmosphere. But I've just been taking my measurements for 12 months now. I've got 12 months worth of data. And anybody that's watched any of my previous videos will know how I arrive at my numbers. As what I do is, on each Saturday, I take the figures for each Saturday. It's 4 different levels in the atmosphere, both satellites, morning and afternoon. So I've got 16 sets of data for each date, and I take an average. And my numbers are lower than the NOAA ones because I'm taking into account the concentrations near the ground plus high up in the atmosphere. But what my workings out do show is any changes in concentration, the amount of change. As you can see, these are my figures from last year. My average for Saturday, March the 9th, March the 16th, March the 23rd, and these are my most recent measurements from March the 7th, March the 14th, and Saturday, March the 21st. If we take a 3-week average of this time period in 2019 and this time period in 2020, in 2019 my average was 1839 parts per billion, and this year it's 1850.7 parts per billion. So atmospheric methane concentrations are now 11.7 parts per billion higher than 12 months ago. And this ties in very nicely with the NOAA data. As I said, their figures up to November, last November, showed a rise of 10.8 parts per billion. And up to today, year on year, I'm showing an increase of 11.7 parts per billion, which is indicating that the increase in concentrations is indeed accelerating. Now let's take a look at the latest coronavirus worldwide figures.
to die down here.
Right, I've totally given up trying to do forecasts and make projections. You can only base these on true data and not pure guesswork. The figures that's coming out are just be great if we could give everybody in the world a test at the same time, and then you'd know how many people had it and how many didn't. And there's people dying and not being tested whether they died of it or not. We just got to try and make the best of the information you've got. So these are the latest reported cases and deaths. And I've got something interesting I want to show you. I hope you find it interesting anyway, as I do myself. I try to look at things differently from everybody else and give a different perspective on things. We start at the bottom of the countries where it's just starting off now. Uganda the latest. So Africa's started to succumb to it. Never gonna get away with it. I'll just scroll through slowly. Basically every nook and cranny of the world's got it now. What I was thinking, I'll look at these total cases per 1 million population. Yeah, that's a high figure, 2,354. So that's 2 out of every 1,000. So that's 0.002%. Faroe Islands. But we look at some more high ones. San Marino, 5,158 per million population. Let's look for another high one. In the thousands. Luxembourg, 1,275. Now, what do these countries have in common? Well, they're small countries with small populations. So I'm thinking the figures from these countries are more accurate because they've got less people to test. A larger percentage of the population is being tested, and the figures are more accurate. And that's why we're getting these large percentage total cases per head of population. Not because it's going into small countries and just exploding in them, but the fact that the number of cases is being more accurately being recorded, which is quite worrying when you look at larger countries. Israel had 1 death. And none of the majorly affected countries are up to 0.001%, yeah? Italy's almost there. 978 per million. It's, Iceland, 1,665. They've got a small population. You look at the figure for the UK. We're on a lowly 84. We all know there's probably a lot more cases than what's being reported, undiagnosed. So what if these high figures of 1, 2 or even 5,000 cases per million population is actually a true figure overall for each country? So I'm going to look at the figure, an intermediate one. Iceland. That's one of the lowest ones of the high ones. As I said, it was 5,000 in, where was it? In San Marino. Well, God help us if that's an accurate figure overall for every country. Well, let's just take Iceland. 1,665. So, if in the UK so let's take this figure from Iceland. 1,665. 1,665 and divide that by UK 84, because it's been grossly underreported, and oh, hang on, start again, I'm not used to using this. Where's it gone? Oh bugger, I've closed it down. Hang on. And we multiply this by the number of supposed cases in the UK, 5683, and we have 112,645 currently infected people in Britain. Let's do the same for the US. They're showing, was it 1665? Which is probably the true percentage of people infected. And divide that by 101. And multiply that by the reported cases, 33,546. So an actual truer number of the actual number of cases in America is just 553,010. So we've surpassed over 500,000. And seeing that almost half of the reported cases in the US of A are in New York, that puts us at around about 250,000 people infected in New York alone.